He got the ball. Watch this here. Almost busted his pattern coming out on the rollout. And that's a tough pass to catch. You got to get your hands up there. If you miss it, it's going to zip right through. And then it's a touchdown.
Well, Avellini, who had never thrown a touchdown pass against the Vikings, has two to his credit. Thomas connects on the extra point, and the Bears have taken the lead for the first time this afternoon with 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in quarter number 3. Chicago, by the margin of a field goal, leads it 16-13. And again, you look back at that block extra point, it would mean that the Vikings, of course,
would have a chance to tie the game, but there's a long time. I don't think it's going to end up 16-13 or even 16-0.
CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday afternoon at 4:30. The triple-header boxing from Vegas, featuring the Spinks brothers. Leon, the heavyweight, against Scott Ledoux. And his little brother Michael goes against Greg Summerhays in the light heavyweight bout. And Bernardo Macedo, another heavyweight, against Greg Johnson. Fine boxing action. And then, of course, the world's strongest men competition. They're in round 4 of that 10-part series on CBS. And they've had some very interesting events. And next week, they've got the wheelbarrow race.
No, I am not entered, Frank, in the wheelbarrow race.
I didn't say anything. Once again, the squib kick by the Bears, trying to prevent the long run back, but instead they get a pretty good return out of Mark Keller, number 39.
Mark Keller used to go to Northern Illinois University.
He takes it out to the 44-yard line, so fairly good field position for the first time in the second half for the Minnesota Vikings, who find themselves trailing. Tarkin into the throttle. Giving to Foreman across the 45 to the 46-yard line. 2 minutes left to play in the third quarter. Bears defense all fired up now.
The Bear defense has done a pretty good job since the first quarter. If you stop and analyze this game so far, since a couple of fumbles by the Bears and a couple of early drives by the Vikings, they haven't done anything offensively since that time.
Second down 8, Minnesota at its 46-yard line. Tarkinen with a nice fake, rolls to the right, drops it off to Stu Voigt, his tight end, and Voigt is down to the Bear 39. Gary Fensick rides him out of bounds. That last carry by Foreman, by the way, got him over the 100-yard rushing mark. He's now at 101 in 18 carries, his first 100-yard rushing effort of the year.
And I wonder what the completion ratio is from Tarkington to Stu Voigt. He doesn't throw to Voigt very much, but when he does, it seems like they're always complete.
Vikings moving now from the Bear 39-yard line. Foreman caught at the line of scrimmage.
Great play by Don Reeves. He came in from the backside and caught Foreman from behind before he could really hit the point of penetration on the hole. And now we're going to see Fran Tarkington probably go to the air for a couple of plays.
No gain. Second down 10. Here come the Vikings, divisional champions 8 of the last 9 years. Green Bay, the only team to beat them out of a divisional title in that time, and they're going for their 5th straight. And the Bears giving them a stiff argument. Tarkinen, Newsome after him. He gets it away. There's a marker down as Voigt makes the catch, but is out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage. He lost a yard on the play, and I think we've got a holding call coming up against Minnesota. So the Bears have a decision here that they take a 1-yard loss and the down moves on, or do they take the 10-yard penalty and give the Vikings the down over?
It is an interesting decision, because if they take the penalty, they can pretty much put them out of field goal range, but also you give them that down over again. I don't know. I think I'd put them out of territory.
That's what the Bears are going to do. They're reading your mind. 10-yard walk-off moves it back to the 49. Let's see who it was against.
Offensive holding, number 62, second down.
Ed White, the veteran guard. Newsome comes out, and so does Reeves.
Mike Hartenstein has come in for the Bears, playing at the defensive right end. You have Rydalch, Chambers, and Jerry Myers.
Second and 20. Vikings are at the Bear 49-yard line. Tarkinen back to throw it. The rush is on. He steps up into the pocket, fires wide open. Down to the far sideline is Rashad. He's got the 20 yards that they needed for the first down, plus perhaps one more at the 26-yard line. Correction, that's Grimm. Bobby Grimm, number 26 instead of 28.
Big catch for Bob Grimm. Keep that drive alive.
That is his first catch of the year for Bobby Grimm. And the clock has run out here in the third period of play. Bears leading the Minnesota Vikings by a score of 16-13. That's the end of the third quarter. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Archie's surprise birthday party for Edith turns out to be the shock of their lives. See tonight's special one-hour episode of All in the Family here on CBS.
Frank Lieber along with Johnny Morris. Bloomington, Minnesota, Metropolitan Stadium. The Vikings are driving. They have a first down at the Bear 26-yard line as we get the fourth period underway. Francis Tarkinen, 11 out of 22 for 123 yards. Sammy White in motion across the backfield. The pitch back goes to Johnson, who has just come into the game. Sammy Johnson.
Chuck Foreman has gone out of the game. So now it's McClanahan and Johnson in the backfield together. Johnson very popular here in Minnesota. A lot of people think he should be playing a lot more than he does. Sometimes it's hard to get the right combination of backs so that you take advantage of situations. There's Chuck Foreman on the sidelines itching to get back in the game.
No gain on that last play. It is second down 10. Tarkinen quickly retreating back into the pocket. And a diving catch for the first down at the 12-yard line by Sammy White. Covering for the Bears, Virgil Livers.
Well, it was just simply a great catch by Sammy White. Good protection for Tarkington, just over the linebacker Wayman Bryant and short where Livers was, and he makes the dive, kept his elbows in, got control of the ball. Beautiful catch by Sammy White.
Sammy was a number 2 round draft choice last year and far exceeded everyone's expectations, wound up making the Pro Bowl. First and 10 from the 12. It is Johnson to the 9, maybe the 8-yard line. Johnson, big guy, 6'1", 226. Fourth-year man out of North Carolina. There's Expansion Bowl 2, they're calling it up in Seattle.
A battle of the Beatons. And there's Oakland 7, Denver nothing in the first quarter.
What else is new? Well, they marked the ball at the 9-yard line, so a pickup actually of a couple of yards in the play. Second and 8. Quick hitter, and Foreman, who has come back into the game, carries to the 5. Well, he pops through there quickly, too.
Well, Don Reeves makes the tackle, but not before we get a good block down the line there by the offensive right tackle of the Vikings. Ron Yeri, 73 from Southern California, made a nice block on that. USC has more players than anybody in the NFL. 41 former Trojans are in the NFL.
Those are the ball just inside the 5. They have to reach the 2 to pick up the first down. Third down. 3 for the first down. Little less than 5 for the touchdown. Tarkinen going for the 6. Incomplete. Livers back there with the pass coverage as Ahmad Rashad tried to find the handle and couldn't.
Well, they had the right idea. He threw the ball up and over. Livers is not very tall. Rashad had a step, but Livers makes a leap at the last second. Actually, the ball came off his shoulder pad. Bounced off the shoulder pad. He could not make the grab, so the Vikings apparently will go for the field goal, which would tie the game at 16.
Cox has made 2. This will be a 21-yard attempt. Not much more than an extra point when you get right down to it. Krause to put it down. It's good. So we are tied. The Vikings and the Bears are knotted up at 16 apiece with 12 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game.
In stage 1 of my life, I couldn't stand dull wheels. I'm the same in stage 2 with my new 78 Ford LTD2, the trimmer, sportier LTD at a trimmer price. The LTD of mid-size cars. If you're a sporty guy who appreciates the finer things in life, welcome to stage 2.
Isn't it you in an LTD2? You'll never know till you try.
Welcome to LTD2.
A better idea from Ford.
You know me. They still remember me as a senator in Washington. But there are lots of places where folks don't know me at all. Now that I have more time to travel and entertain, I recently got me an American Express card. With this, maybe they'll treat me like somebody important, even though I'm just a plain old country lawyer from North Carolina.
To apply for a card, call 800-528-8000.
The American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Having dinner with clients is part of your job.
The trick is to gain a client, not lose a reputation. On Our Own tonight, following Rhoda.
Stay here, Mr.
Art Best waiting as Cox prepares to kick off. Oh, Freddie. Score tied now at 16. That's Baschnagel at the 25, across the 35, out to the 38-yard line. Fielding the short kickoff by Fred Cox. There's the book on the Minnesota scoring drive as they responded to Chicago going ahead in the ball game for the first time. Bears first and 10 at their 38-yard line. Good football game.
Let's see if the Bears turn conservative or whether they throw the ball up a little bit, take a few chances. They've really gotten on the board with some key passes, actually.
Young offensive line has done a good job protecting Avellini. This young Bear line averages just 24 years of age. Little hit screen out to the wide receiver, James Scott. And Scott run out of bounds at the 46-yard line. But a pickup of 7 or 8 on the play. Logan's Run tomorrow night at CBS. Intergalactic action. You didn't think I'd do it again, did you? Battle for control of the Star Worlds. 8 p.m., 7 o'clock Central and Mountain Time.
Here's another Star Wars. Washington 3, Dallas nothing. That game is in the first quarter. A Mosley field goal from 25 yards out.
2nd down and 2. Bears from their own 46-yard line got 8 on the little screen to James Scott. Harper trying to pick up the first down. And Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, was there to shove him back. 3rd down. Let's see where they spot it. That'll be within a yard.
Avellini is signaling to the sidelines. It's 3rd and 1, and here come the people in. He wanted the men for the short yardage situation, so he's on top of the game. He wasn't calling for somebody to send in a play. He was calling for the short yardage situation.
Got a second tight end in there, Chuck Bradley. 3rd down and 1. Bears at their own 47 trying to pick up the first, and they do not get it. No question about that, as Harper was nailed by Alan Page. And watch Page on this play.
Let's take a look at 88 right there in the center, left of your screen. He's right over the top there. There comes the blocking, and Page holds his ground off Piper, stays in, gets some help from Seaman, and Roland Harper was not going to get that first down. Alan Page.
4th down, less than a yard. Keep in mind that Parsons has been known to throw from punt formation. In fact, he completed a pass last week, giving him 4 consecutive completions on that play. But this time he goes for the safety of the punt. Manfred Moore at the 20 and is ridden down at the 24-yard line. So Minnesota takes over at its own 24 with the score tied at 16. And we've got 11 minutes left to play in this football game at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. We'll be back in just a moment.
Slips light. Schlitz light beer has a third fewer calories than our other fine beer, and all the taste beer drinkers expect from Schlitz.
What did you just give him? His beer. It's the only light beer with gusto. Oh, yeah? Schlitz Light.
Beer drinkers know it took Schlitz to bring the taste to light.
I mean, it was really a good movie.
It was good, wasn't it?
Oh, honey, look, some poor guy left his lights on.
Larry.
Is he going to be in trouble?
Larry.
Boy, am I glad it isn't me.
Larry, it is you.
It is me. Oh.
The Die Hard has extra power to start your car when most batteries won't. Starting soon in your neighborhood. Sold only at Sears.
CBS Sports Spectacular presents triple header boxing next Saturday from Vegas. The Spinks brothers in action. Leon in one of the heavyweight bouts against Scott Ledoux. And his brother Michael goes against Gary Summerhays, and Bernardo Mercado in another heavyweight battle against Greg Johnson. That coupled with the world's strongest men competition sets it all up for you next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time. Tarkinen, 12 out of 24 for 138 yards. Vikings first and 10 at their 24-yard line. They sent Sammy White in motion, then they sent Foreman up the middle. And Foreman drives out to the 31-yard line. Officials whistled it dead, but Foreman claims he was still moving. Oh, come on, ref. Give me a break. He ran an extra 60 yards.
Chambers, I think, hurt his leg. He's going off the field after this play. Good block by Ron Urie. You see number 60, Wally Chambers, in there. And he comes over, gets in on the tackle. Now he stopped. The whistle did go. Well, I'll tell you what, you got to give Foreman credit for keeping his body moving, but you can understand the officials blowing the whistle on that. He was stopped there for quite a while.
Pick up a 7, 2nd and 3. Vikings at their 32-yard line. And Foreman on his own. Looks like he's got enough for the first down at the 34-yard line. Bob Frederick, the referee, says timeout on us. And they may want to measure. Of course, typical Tarkinen strategy in this case would be to take about 7 or 8 minutes, take his leisurely time, and move the ball down to the field and score with a minute and a half to go or something. He's done it so many times before. So it is up to the Bear defense to dig in and try and stop him. Vikings get the first down. Nose of the ball just inside the Minnesota 35. McClanahan getting the call out to the 39-yard line. Pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd down 6.
Seattle has taken the lead over Tampa Bay 7-3 in the first quarter. 7-3.
Hey, Tampa Bay has not scored many points.
They haven't given up too many either.
No, they have an excellent defense. But they had not scored an offensive touchdown coming into this game. 2nd down 6. Sammy Johnson in there with McClanahan. Is Foreman given a rest, and that's Johnson crossing the 40 and out to the 42-yard line. Looks about 3 shy of the first down. Billy Newsome, number 87, on the stop for the Bears.
And Chuck Foreman is coming right back in, and you have to wonder on 3rd and 3, will he come in with a suggestion from Bud Grant?
Vikings haven't done that well on their 3rd down conversions. 3rd down 3. Miller comes in at the other running back position. Robert Miller, number 35, coupled with Foreman, number 44 in the backfield. Sammy White wide to the right side. Ahmad Rashad is split to the left. Miller in motion. Tarkinen back to throw. Looking for some running room, and Newsom drags him down at the 41-yard line. So good job by the Bears defense as everybody was covered, and Tarkinen couldn't find a big enough hole to run out of.
Good play by the Bears defense. Good play. Good coverage downfield to put Tarkington on the spot. Here's a game just underway. Miami 7, the Jets nothing. That game is in the first quarter. A touchdown for Benny Malone. 5-yard run.
Neil Clabo back to punt, standing on his 25-yard line. Score tied. Schubert awaiting the punt. Good snap. Nice punt. Schubert waiting at his 25. He's got it. Trying to get to the far sideline. Torn down. Excellent coverage by McNeil, number 54, the Minnesota Vikings. The big linebacker really flashed down there in a hurry. And the Bears take over at their 25-yard line. We've got 8 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and quite a finish upcoming. Stay with us.
Energy for a strong America.
Excuse me, Mr. Johnson.
Yeah?
Do you know you're one of America's most valuable energy sources?
I am?
That insulation you're installing isn't only going to save you a lot of money.
Yeah?
It's going to help our country save energy.
So?
So thank you.
You're welcome.
By saving energy, you're helping hold down foreign imports, while companies like Exxon develop other energy sources like coal, nuclear fuel, and solar power. Energy for a strong America.
Alcoa can't wait.
Here they come, pouring in from California and Vermont, from Texas, Oklahoma, and Georgia, from all over the country. Billions of used aluminum cans headed for recycling. Today, about 1 out of 4 aluminum cans is recycled and used again. Tomorrow may be 1 out of 3. Someday, maybe every one of them.
We can't wait. We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
Head coach of the Chicago Bears, now in his 3rd year, Jack Pardee.
There's a linebacker. He intercepted 5 passes and returned them for touchdowns during his career. He could play football, played for 15 years. Has done a real job here with the Chicago Bears.
Bears 1st and 10 at their 25. For most of you, right after this ball game, we'll be joining the Washington-Dallas game. It's the 2nd game of our doubleheader, so be sure and stay tuned. Score here is tied, and the Bears trying to break it open as they give it to Payton, and Walter carries to the 31-yard line. That's a good football game. 2 young upcoming teams. Patriots leading by 1 in the first period. Interesting statistical note here. The Vikings have not made a 3rd down conversion since the first quarter. I'll tell you something about the way the Bears are playing defense. 2nd down 4. Bears from their 32-yard line. Try that middle once too often. And Payton is smothered at the line of scrimmage.
Both teams have gone with the philosophy of very little red dogging or blitzing in this game.
3rd down. Bears still need 3 for the first down. With the ball at their 33-yard line, clock continues to move with just over 7 minutes left to play. And of course, if it's tied, we go into the 15-minute sudden death overtime period. Payton picking up the first down and a lot of change as he moves it out to the 44-yard line. Carl Eller, number 81, on the stop.
Well, 3rd and 3, they chose the run. They went with their best weapon, and Walter Payton responded and got the runs. Good blocking. You can see Jim Marshall's wheeled out by Ted Albrecht as Payton just hits up the line, and finally Eller comes over and puts the crunch on Walter and says, "That's far enough. That's far enough."
That's a first period score. Denver has come back to tie Oakland. Battle of unbeatens in the AFC. 1st and 10, Bears. Nose of the ball just inside their 45-yard line. Avellini with a nice fake. Decides to go long. Short pass intended for Bo Rather, and Nate Wright, number 43, almost got his hands on it. Looked like he kind of threw that thing off the wrong foot. We got a marker down. Back of the line of scrimmage, which is normally where they drop those holding flags.
You probably have made an accurate statement. It's going to go against the Chicago Bears as Jim Marshall talking with the officials.
Payton with that run a moment ago put him over the 100-yard mark. What, 4th time in 5 games. He's at 107 yards, 21 carries.
Illegal use of the hands on the offense, number 53, 1st down.
Dan Pfeiffer, the Bears center, guilty of the holding call. So the down reverts to 1st, the yardage to 20, and the ball moves back to the 35 of Chicago. Bo Rather wide to the left side. Scott off to the right. Avellini Protection, excellent. Can't find a receiver. Now lets it go, and he's got somebody wide open, Rather. And Rather is soared himself. He couldn't have hit him more perfectly at the 47-yard line, and Rather drops it.
Avellini had excellent protection. He stayed right there in the pocket and waited, and finally zinged the ball. And you got to give credit. It's a straight four-man rush by the Vikings, but the Bears hold him out. Good blocking all the way around, and Rather uses the hands. He goes up with the two hands rather than try and get in his chest and then smother it into his chest with a little leap. And it cost the Bears a reception.
Rather is the only Bears offensive starter with more than 2 years experience. Avellini, 10 out of 16 for 108 yards. Second down, 20 from his 35-yard line. Again, good protection, gets the pass away. Harper was the intended receiver, and Matt Blair, number 59, really let him have it.
Those are the kind that really hurt when a receiver has to keep his eyes on the ball to catch the ball. You see Harper going out on the upper part of your screen. Avellini gets pretty good protection again. Dennis Lick doing a nice job, but he's got to keep his eyes on the ball, can't protect himself, and Matt Blair laid the wood to him. Good aggressive tackle by Blair, who is the man who blocked that extra point.
It is 3rd and 20. As the Vikings are experts in blocking kicks. They blocked 16 kicks last year, counting punts and field goals and conversions. Had it not been for that blocked extra point, this ball game would be a lot different. Bears would have a 1-point lead. Big rush. Avellini caught back to the 22. Loss of 13 yards. The veteran Carl Eller, number 81, at the age of 35. Still shows he's got it.
Let's take a look at Eller. Up the top of your screen, he goes to the inside of Dennis Lick that time instead of an outside move, and he had a full head of steam, whereas Avellini was trying to come out of the pocket, and there was no chance. A great play by number 81, Carl Eller, who never gets old.
5:48 left in the game. Parsons, big rush on him.
Uh-oh.
They get it away. Parson goes down, and a flag is down. The Bears are going to get the ball back on running into the punter. Manfred Moore dragged down at the 25-yard line, but Chicago will get it back. Steve Craig, number 84, ran into the punter.
And a great acting job to help out by Parsons. The Vikings didn't crisscross so much in front. They went right at him, trying to make the block, and they couldn't avoid the hit. And it's a good call. They did come into him, and of course they're taught and coached to try and crisscross in front. So if they miss the ball, they go to one side or the other of the punter. But that time it didn't work out, and it could have
defensive running into the kicker. First down.
So the Bears get a life.
Defensive running into the kicker. First down.
5:35 left to play in the game. The score is tied, and the Bears have a first down at their 28-yard line. See if they can take advantage of the break here. Avellini trying to get him cranked up. Scott at the 40, to the 45, to the 50. James Scott down to the 41-yard line to the Vikings.
What a play by James Scott and Avellini, who laid it right there, and James just took it like Walter Payton does, kept his legs going, picked up an extra 10 yards out of it, a first down. Just a quick post pattern, quick slant in, and the ball was right there.
That's a 31-yard completion from Bob Avellini to James Scott.
Let's watch James down about 10 yards, the move to the inside. The ball was right there to the inside. He grabbed it.
Back to live action, 1st and 10. Bears at the Viking 41-yard line. Payton getting a yard at the line of scrimmage. Scott now has 4 catches for a total of 70 yards.
And he had an average of 24 yards per catch coming into this game. So he's maintaining that average. He is a real threat and a great compliment to Walter Payton. As far as the running game and the passing game are concerned, the Vikings are on the spot. They're going to have to stop the Bears.
2nd down, 6. Bears at the Minnesota 37-yard line, driving for the go-ahead score. Avellini to Payton, and Payton to the 35-yard line. Pickup of 2. It'll be 3rd down 3 as Matt Blair, number 59, surrounds Payton and drags him down. 4 minutes exactly left to play in the game and counting.
What the Bears are doing, eating up an awful lot of the clock on this drive now. That ball, of course, was a running play. It's down to 3:49. They're going to try. If they can get this first down, they'll probably try and eat up as much of the clock as they can and then maybe settle for the field goal. But it's 3rd and 4. What do you do? 3rd and 3.
That's a long 3 at the 35-yard line. They have to get just inside the 32 to pick up the first down. Avellini's going to throw on 3rd down. Fires a bullet to Payton at the 30-yard line, and that should be good for the first. First down, Bears at the 30-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. The clock is moving. 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
This may be the key play of the game as Payton comes out of the backfield, makes a nice grab under pressure, and the Bears have a first down.
That's the first pass caught by Payton. Phil Wise, number 29, who's just come into the secondary, made the tackle. Bears trying to take advantage of the break they got when the Vikings were flagged for running into the punter. Here's Harper to the 28. And then thrust back by the purple charge, Jeff Seaman leading the way.
We're down to 2:39. 2:39 left in the game. The Bears, I'm sure, are going to try and keep it in the position of the field so that they can get the field goal and eat up as much of the clock as they can. They probably get one more play off before the 2-minute warning.
Second down, it'll be 8 for the first down with the ball at the 28-yard line of Minnesota. Clock moving with 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to play in the game. And the score is tied. Avellini, pass is complete. Looked like Latta at the 24-yard line. Not enough for the first down as he's dragged out by Jeff Wright. And that runs it down to the 2-minute warning. Exactly 2 minutes left to play in the game. And the score is tied at 16-all.
With the price of most things going up, the sticker price of Pinto, the best-selling American small car, is coming down. As of October 3rd, new 78 model Pintos with more standard features will have a lower sticker price than last year's model comparably equipped. Important features are now standard, like AM radio, power front disc brakes, rear window defroster, tinted glass, and protective body side moldings. Ford Pinto, more car for the money than last year. Also, Ford has announced substantial sticker price reductions on their sporty 1978 Mustang IIs. And Fiesta, with Europe's most successful new car introduction in history, has already become a sales success in America. Then there's Ford's newest better idea, Fairmont. Fairmont is roomy, but with mileage like a small car. And even this Fairmont wagon is base sticker priced lower than a four-door VW Rabbit. So the Ford dealers seem to have the edge in choice and value. Pinto at a lower sticker price, Mustang at a lower sticker price, Fiesta, a new import success, and Fairmont, a new car for a new age. At Ford, the better ideas keep coming.
Exactly 2 minutes left to play in the football game. Our telecast this afternoon, produced by Bob Rowe and directed by Jim Silman. And some of the other folks. Clarence Anderson, deep throat himself.
The man with the beautiful voice.
And the fine people at WCCO TV up here in Minneapolis who help us out. Well, let's set it up for you again. Third down. Bears need a long 3 for the first down. They're at the 24-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings with the score tied. Here's Avellini. Going to throw it on 3rd and 3. Protection is good. The pass is not intended for Latta. And the Bears field goal unit comes on, and this is going to take about a 40-yard effort by Bob Thomas, but the wind here is at his back. He will have advantage of the wind. Ball is at the 24, which means to put it down at about the 31, so make it about a 41-yard field goal try.
And I'm sure that John Hilton of the special team said, be careful, the Vikings are famous for turning the game around and blocking the kicks. They've already blocked one. He's got to get a high trajectory as Blair is back off the line.
It's blocked. Minnesota will take over at the 25. The block came up the middle, and the Vikings did what they are so famous for last year. They blocked 16 kicks. Remember the Rams game last year in the playoffs?
And there's the leap up there. The ball just doesn't get up there. I think it was Matt Blair and
might have been Nate Allen coming across on the outside that got a piece of it.
But I really think it might have been Blair that made the block. He does such a tremendous job for him.
Remember that Ram game last year where they blocked that field goal attempt and Bryant picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown? Rams never recovered.
Oh, these Viking fans are alive now.
Ball is at the 24-yard line, and now Francis Tarkenton has a chance to show what he can do with 1:49 seconds. Foreman is out to the 30, to the 35. Foreman to the 40-yard line. 16 yards and a first down. First down for the Vikings at their own 40, and Minnesota calls time.
Frank, I think I'm going to head downstairs. We'll have some post-game interviews, and I got to get down there, so I'll be there in time. I hate to leave right now.
Oh. Great finish here. Typical Bear Viking finish with the score tied at 16. 1:40 to go, and the Bears trying to hold the Vikings now. Have a first down at their own 40-yard line.
Come on, old trademark. Time for your walk. What's the hurry? I know where we're going. To where your family began. With the same Levi's blue jeans worn by this man. Hey, you've come quite a ways, little registered mark. Now that I see these guys by the park dressed in your newest edition, sums it up right there. Levi's sportswear. Trademark, I know what you'd say if you could. Levi's don't have to be blue. Just have to be good.
Back to action we go. 1st and 10 from the 40. Here's Francis Tarkenton over the middle. It's Sammy White at the 42-yard line of the Chicago Bears, and the Vikings are on the move. 1:25 left to play in the game. Take a look at it again. Tarkenton, the master of the 2-minute drill, firing over the middle, and Sammy White pulls it down. 2 plays, 2 first downs. Back to live action again. Tarkenton back it up to throw. Steps up into the pocket, going long for Rashad. Incomplete. Good defense by Virgil Livers, number 24, the Bears, who stepped in front of him and batted it away. Ahmad Rashad, number 28, the intended receiver. Excellent protection. And Tarkenton firing a strike for Rashad, and watch Livers come up and get that hand in front of him, just timing it perfectly to knock the pass away. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the Bear 42-yard line. Alan Page, by the way, was given credit for the field goal block. Blair got the earlier extra point block. That blocked extra point certainly looms big in this football game. Time remaining, 1:14. 2nd and 10. Vikings at the Bear 30, make it the 42-yard line. Foreman to the 40. And keep in mind that Freddie Cox, the Vikings field goal kicker, though he's fairly accurate inside the 30, does not have great range and does not have a wind advantage here in the final period, so the Vikings are going to have to get it pretty close. Foreman, prior to that last play, had gained 131 yards rushing in 22 carries. 3rd down, 7 for the first down. Big rush by the Bears. Tarkenton trying to escape. Still on his feet, and finally gets rid of the ball at the 32-yard line, and this time they do drop a flag. And it'll be intentional grounding, I'm sure. Not much question about that one. Wayman Bryant applying the pressure, intentional grounding against Francis Tarkenton. And that, of course, involves not only the penalty, but loss of down, and will force the Vikings to punt. And we may have an overtime. Look at it again. Tarkenton does a good job, finds everybody covered. The Bears pressure him out of it. Watch how long he stays on his feet here. They just can't seem to get him down, and finally he decides, I got to get rid of this thing somehow. Bryant's got him at this particular
Intentional
point.
grounding.
Whoops.
Offense number 10, and a loss of a down. 4th down.
4th down now for Minnesota as they lose the down and the yardage. The ball is moved back to the 45 at Minnesota's end of the field. There's the time remaining, 38 seconds, and Neil Claiborne will punt. And overtime is looming. Vikings, of course, have played one overtime game already. They lost their season opener to Dallas. Claybo really gets this one. It bounces at the 5. It goes on. Well, it doesn't either. It's going to be downed inside the 5-yard line. Never hit the ground in the end zone, so the Vikings, just as the Bears did earlier, tipped it back on the playing field, and the Bears will get it at the 2-yard line. It's a great play by Nate Allen, number 25. Little alley-oop job there.
How you doing?
Vikings down it at the 2. 26 seconds to go, and the Bears are 98 yards away. Well, at this particular point, I would think, and Johnny Morris is not with me right now, he's making his way down to the field, that I'd be content to run out the clock and settle for overtime, because you certainly don't want to make a mistake this deep in your own territory. The Viking mascot trying to exhort the Minnesotans. 26 seconds left in regulation. Bears are going to have to be awful careful. And that's what I believe Avellini is going to do. Quarterback sneak. Jim Marshall calls time for the Vikings with 23 seconds to go. Vikings at this point would like to force the Bears to at least have a shot at the punt return, and maybe, who knows, a field goal attempt before time runs out. That's our timeout situation. Bears have all of their timeouts, and Minnesota has just one left. So I don't believe that they're going to be able to stretch that. And if Avellini indeed wants to run out the clock and get this thing into overtime, he'll have an opportunity to do so. He picked up a yard on the quarterback sneak. Bob Avellini in the shadow of his own goalpost, literally talking things over with the Bears offensive unit. If we do wind up tied, of course, we go to the 15-minute sudden death overtime. First team that scores first in any manner wins the football game. And if it goes the full 15 and no one scores, then it's an official tie. 2nd and 9 for the Bears at their 3-yard line. Straight handoff to Harper, and Harper gets it out to the 6 as the Vikings try to do a little ball tackling there. Minnesota calling time again. That stops the clock with 17 seconds to go. Now, unofficially at least, we show them out of timeouts. I'll have to get that confirmed for you. It'll be 3rd down and 7 for the Chicago Bears at their own 6-yard line. Morris is on his way downstairs. It goes in overtime. He's going to have to reverse tracks and come back on up here. Jeff Seaman, who calls the defensive signals for the Minnesota Vikings, talking things over with Bud Grant. Tarkin in there too. 17 seconds left to play. Vikings led at halftime 13-6. Bears took the lead in the final period, and the margin of difference right now is a blocked extra point. After the first Bear touchdown, Bob Thomas' extra point try was blocked by Matt Blair. On the 3rd down play, Harper getting the call and stopped at the line of scrimmage. Let's see if the Vikings are indeed out of timeouts, and I think that's the case, so the clock will proceed down to 0, and we will go to sudden death overtime. This is the Bears' first sudden death overtime game ever in regulation. The Vikings have played several before, the most recent, as we mentioned, their opening game of this season, which they and the Dallas Cowboys went to overtime, and the Vikings wound up losing that game, and that's been the only blemish on their record so far this year. We'll be back in Bloomington in just a moment.
Pabst Blue Ribbon wouldn't dare challenge anyone to take on the raging Colorado in a wooden boat. But we do challenge you to discover a better tasting premium beer. Taste and compare Pabst with the beer you're now drinking. We know you'll taste the difference Blue Ribbon quality makes. Pabst, since 1844, the quality has always come through.
cold night, Bob. Did you put in the Prestone antifreeze?
Prestone. Who needs Prestone?
Prestone. You need Prestone.
If your antifreeze is worn out or you don't have enough, you could be in trouble. So put in a fresh fill of Prestone, too, to prevent corrosion and freeze-ups.
Prestone! We need Prestone!
Prestone. You need Prestone.
America, you've been changing.
Coming, going, changing, growing. The things that make up life.
Why is Bank AmeriCard becoming Visa? To keep up with you.
You're traveling, you're moving, you're taking more from life.
Today, you need money that's good around the corner, all across America, and in 117 countries around the world. That's why Bank AmeriCard is becoming Visa, the most widely recognized card in the world. Visa, we're keeping up with you.
Sudden death overtime in Bloomington, Minnesota. The Bears' first sudden death game ever against the Minnesota Vikings. Just a moment ago, we had the coin toss. This is just like the start of a regular game. It's the third time the Vikings have been to sudden death, including once this year. And the toss of the coin was won by the Chicago Bears.
And Frank, after running down to the bottom of the stadium, I have run back up so I could be with you as the Bears won the toss. And that doesn't necessarily mean too much, because 58% of the teams that have won the toss in overtime have lost the game. So I picked that out as I was going through numerous statistics last night.
It's not bad, John. Just off the top of your head, 58%.
And I'm sure, though, that any team would like to win the toss. So it has to be an advantage for the Bears to have the ball first. So it did wind up 16-16, and a lot at stake. A two-game swing on this one game. If the Vikings win it, they'll be 2 games ahead of the Bears. If the Bears win it, they're all tied with Minnesota for first place, along with Detroit.
I just repeat the ground rules for the sudden death. You have a 3-minute intermission, of course, the toss of the coin, which you've already had, and a 15-minute sudden death period. The last 2 minutes, if they get that far, are like the end of the first half of the game. That type of rules apply, and if they get through the 15-minute period and no one scores, it goes into the books as a tie. But the first team to score is the winner by any means. The statistics, Vikings wound up 316 total yards to Chicago's 294. Pretty close. Bears ran 2 more plays in the Vikings, 66 to 64. Avellini 13 out of 21. Tarkinen 13 out of 26.
And it all goes back to a couple of block kicks. This ball game would have been the Bears had not an extra point been blocked. And then a try for a field goal in the final minute and a half, which was blocked. Great defense by the Minnesota Vikings, who have done it so many times.
Freddie Cox, who is not one of the longest kickoff men in the league. Got a bulletin from Dallas here. Billy Kilmer has been injured and is out of that Washington-Dallas game. So Joe Theismann is now playing quarterback. And as soon as this one ends, most of you will see the second game of our doubleheader, which is the Cowboy-Redskin annual grudge match. Art Best, the deep man, one of his better kickoffs. Best has it go into the end zone on him. He'll fall on it there and down it for the touchback. No sense fooling around back there.
It'll be the Bears' ball, 1st and 10 at the 20, and I don't know, in a situation with overtime, an important game like this, I would even consider having Walter Payton back on kickoff returns, wouldn't you? He's the kind of guy that could break it. You'd take a chance once or twice with him, maybe. I know they don't want him to get hurt. But
this game means so much, really, when you get right down to it. Difference between being tied for the lead or being 2 games out. A lot of pressure on this young man from Maryland, Bob Avellini. Harper and Payton are the setbacks for the Bears, and Avellini comes out throwing. Scott to the 26-yard line, pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Tackle made by James White, number 72. That is a second period score. Mark Mosley with 2 field goals for the Redskins, but Billy Kilmer has been injured. And most of you will see a good portion of that ball game as soon as this game ends. That's the second game of our CBS doubleheader. Scott wide to the right side, Rather set in the slot inside of him. 2nd down. And a mix-up there as Alan Page scoots through.
They can't really figure out what's going on here, but Avellini was doing the right thing. Make sure he tried to keep the ball, and the Vikings kept going after it. But the center seemed to appear to snap the ball when Avellini wasn't quite ready for it. It was a mix-up on the play, whether it was caused by...
And the penalty goes against the Bears. Of course, that cost them 5. We'll get the call here from the referee, Bob Frederick. Or will we? We never did get an indication,
yes.
But they did walk off 5 yards against the Bears.
Well, Bob Avellini wants to go out and find out just what the situation is. They have it 3rd down and 10 right now.
That should only be 2nd if it was a penalty.
Yes.
Wasn't it? Bob Frederick didn't tell us what happened, so we can only guess. They're showing 3rd down now. I think they're indicating no penalty, just a loss for the Bears on the play. Here's Payton.
Watch out.
Look at this. Payton doing it all on his own. He looks like he's about a yard short of the 1st down. That last play was recorded as a 7-yard sack for Alan Page. There was no penalty involved.
Walter Payton on the draw. They chose to go with the run, and Walter is so elusive. He almost got away, but the Vikings continued their pursuit. You see Jeff Wright forced him back inside, and Seaman made the tackle, got him by the legs, and down he went. But that 2nd down play was the costly one.
Vikings playing return all the way here as Parsons gets a good kick away. Driving, Manfred Moore back. Fields the ball at his 18-yard line, and he is caught at the 20. So the Vikings fall 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. Well, that play was confusing there, wasn't it? Looked for sure like there should have been a penalty on the play, but the official said, when all was said and done, no penalty, and simply a sack of the quarterback by Alan Page. The Bears lost 7 yards on it.
Well, the Vikings could have refused a penalty. They may have called the penalty, and the Vikings refused it because the play went through and they call it as a sack. I don't know. It didn't work out for the Bears anyway. It worked out for Minnesota.
1st and 10 for the Vikings. Tarkenton wants to go long. Didn't go anywhere.
Now, that is just fantastic, the way Tarkenton was caught there and still had the presence. Somebody's grabbed onto him and threw it right where a receiver was.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Tarkenton in regulation had 13 completions and 26 tries. Had 1 pass intercepted and threw for 144 yards. Just another day at the office.
Never gets hurt? Never.
Never. Big rush. Wally Chambers in there applying pressure. Rashad at the 30, out to the 35-yard line as Virgil Liver slipped and went down. And that's the reason that Rashad was as open as he was. Liver's lost his footing.
And there wasn't much in the way of linebacker help there as Wayman Bryant, number 50, goes in. And there he is, man for man. And that's a tough situation for any defensive back. He slipped a little bit, but Rashad made the grab. And it was a key completion. But he had a strict man-for-man situation there.
Vikings 1st down at their 41-yard line. Rashad wide to the left side. Sammy White is flanked to the right. Robert Miller in motion, and is Foreman. Up the middle, and Foreman is out to the 45 for a pickup of 4. 2nd and 6, Mike Hartenstein, number 73, leading the defensive charge for the Chicago Bears.
And I think we have to keep in mind that there is a very strong wind behind the Vikings so that they don't have to penetrate that far for the possibility of a field goal. I'd say it's got to be a 25-mile-an-hour wind. I may be wrong, but it looks that way to me.
Officials mark the ball at the Viking 45-yard line. 2nd down, 6 needed for the 1st down. Miller again in motion. Tarkenton rolling to the right. Protection is good. Stops and fires downfield, and it is complete to Sammy White at the 38-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Gifted 2nd-year receiver from Grambling.
And Tarkenton gets outside so that he has the room. And just a nice move in the out. Ellis came back, tried to reach over and knock the ball down. But no dice Ahmad Rashad with the good grab. Let's take it again. Let's watch it as he goes out on the rollout. No penetration by the Bears on that side so that he has time to get out there and throw the ball. Ellis was there, but so was the ball.
First down from the Bear 37. Francis Tarkinen over the middle to Miller to the 32 to the 30-yard line. So the Vikings continue to penetrate and move ever closer. Getting in good position for a field goal try from Fred Cox.
Well, they faked that screen or the swing pass out to Foreman, and Tarkenton carried it through and then just dunked it over the middle. 2nd and 3. Vikings are in good control right now.
Ball is at the Bear 30-yard line as Francis Tarkinen looks over the defensive alignment. It is Foreman behind Miller's block. Inside the 25 to the 23. First down, Minnesota. 10 minutes and 40 seconds left to play in the overtime period.
Take Foreman to the outside. Lead the way. Reeves comes through the middle. Can't get there. Foreman cuts back. Ron Yeri, the tackle, pulling. Foreman cuts up the field before a host of Bears knock him down. But it's another first down for the Vikings on the 22.5, easily within field goal range. So will they go conservative? Will they keep control of the ball and then kick?
Foreman has picked up 146 yards rushing at 25 carries. Easily his best day. Miller inside the 20 to about the 16-yard line. Second down. Vikings need 4 for the first down. The officials mark it at the 17.
This is where I tell my players, go for the ball. Go for the ball. Knock it loose. Dick Butkus used to do that so many times for the Bears. Of course, when you go for a ball, tackle the ball, you have a chance of missing the tackle, but at this stage, what do you got to lose?
Tarkenton giving again to Miller, and Miller carries to the 15-yard line. That'll set up third down and 2 needed for the first down. Vikings moving with the wind at their back. And, of course, the field goal kicker has the advantage of seeing exactly what's going on. You see those flags on top of the goalpost. They're exactly for the benefit of the field goal kicker, and it's blown to the Vikings' advantage, and they're in excellent position right now. If they were stopped right now, it's a Vikings shaking up on the play. It looks like Miller. From this point, they would need a 32-yard field goal effort from Fred Cox. So they're in excellent shape. Timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
Alcoa can't wait.
Highway light poles can be treacherous, especially if they stop your car dead on impact. That's why Alcoa helped develop.
How about the amazing Denver Broncos? They lead Oakland 21-7 at the half. The Broncos have intercepted 4. Chicago and Minnesota battle overtime this afternoon. Here's Avellini rallying the Bears, going to Greg Latta. 16-13, Chicago ahead. Now, Chicago had a field goal. They could have won it in the fourth quarter, but it was blocked by Blair and Allen. Now, watch Sir Francis with time running out. Give him credit for one thing. He doesn't quit, folks. Here is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Intentional grounding. We go to overtime. Now, fake field goal. Minnesota goes for the touchdown. And they win it 22-16. And Jimmy the Greek, there's going to be some wise guys who are going to say they did it because of the number.
Forget about it, Brent. To begin with, there was a great play call. It was the first down. If the pass is incomplete, they still can go for the field goal. But Grant, don't challenge his integrity. I mean, he's a good man, honest man, and plus the fact that Minnesota was favored by more than 6.
All right, Irv, what about that World Series going on? Yankees trying to wrap it up.